Hey, welcome back to the channel. My name's Eric. Today we're going to do something that's been requested by a lot of you. Show us your workflow, but start with a blank Ableton project. So strap in. I think at the end of this video, you'll never look at producing with Ableton the same way again. Here's our session, and as you can see, right now there is nothing loaded. And what we're going to start with is giving you an idea of how my foundational way is of doing this. And what I always do is that I will set up a mastering channel, which may seem a little bit weird, but the reason for this is that I don't send my sound straight to the output, but I send everything to a mastering channel first. This is our mid-side mastering chain. I'm going to show you in just a second how it works. Main thing here, we need to switch monitoring to in, and we're going to enable resampling. And that's going to go to main. So that now has become our main channel, as if you will. And what I also do is I will add a limiter to the main output. Of course, what we're going to need first of all is a kick drum. And for this, I'm going to look for one of my favorite kick drums, which is in my own live set. What I do, my whole workflow is built up in such a way that I control the whole live set using these controllers. And today we're mostly going to focus on these. So as you can see, I have 16 faders, or actually 18 if you want to be exact. I have live performance effects, and I have all of these additional controls, although the most important one is high cut filters on every channel. If you want to dive deeper into this, you can get the Eric Heiermann Ableton template, which is like the no holds bar template that has everything I'm going to show you today and more. Or you can get the Infinity bundle, which comes with a lot of instruments. It's a little bit simpler, but it's also available for Bitwig, FL Studio, and Logic Pro. If you want to really immerse yourself in this, starting January, we're starting the Flow Collective, where you can learn all of this stuff from the ground up. And I'm going to walk you through setting all of this up, how you use it, how you get the most from it, how to explore your creativity and express what you really want to bring across without any technical friction, and knowing that your mix is always going to sound killer. This is the main kick that we're going to use. I sampled it a couple of times so that I had a few options. Usually the first one, because it went through a lot of outboard gear here in the studio, usually the first one has sometimes little clicks and stuff in it. So that's why we're not using that one. This right now, I'm going to MIDI link quickly to my kick drum fader. So as you saw now, this fader is linked to the kick. I already sampled this kick fully processed. It's completely just ready to go, which is why I'm also sharing it with you, because then you can use this in your tracks and benefit from all of the sick outboard gear that I sent this through. This went through kind of everything in the studio. It went through the louder, the liftoff, silver bullet, and the Neve over there in the corner. What I do with a kick like this is that I usually just put the possibility of doing a high cut filter on it. So here's the high cut. I'm going to map it to this rotary encoder on my surface. They're actually labeled. These are hard coded, so that I always have a high cut possibility on a kick drum. Let me show you. Which is just a really nice way to be able to bring it into the background, and is extremely useful just to get your kick to work with the kind of track potentially that you're making. Because sometimes, you know, you're making a track and the kick needs to be really blasting. Sometimes you're making a track and the kick needs to be a bit more subdued and deep. So that's what I use this for. As you can see, this is now going straight to the main. And what we're going to do now is look for a bass. And for this, what I would like to do is grab Zensphere, our own in-house instrument, of course. Yeah, because it has all of the hardware sampled synths here in my studio, pre-mixed, pre-mastered, same like I just did with the kick. And I'm going to also assign this fader to my second controller fader here. So as we go through, I'll show you a bit, but yeah, it's like bass, kick, bass, snare, all the harmonic melodic elements, all the drums. That's the layout here. First things first, what I need to do is to make sure that the sequencer and the arpeggiator from this is all set up with the correct latency and running really tight. So let's get this going. I'm going to latch, and I'm just going to do a really simple, and can you hear it's not really on the money? It's like, it doesn't feel right. Let me close the filter on it a bit. It makes it easier, I think, to hear. It doesn't groove. It doesn't feel right. So this is what we're going to do now with the multi-clock sitting over here. I can change the timing of the Iridium MIDI clock. Let me make it super late, just to exaggerate. Make it super early. And now we're going to try to find the sweet spot. That's it. Yeah. Like as soon as it starts to feel like, this is the pocket, then I've learned not to keep messing with it. Little delay. We definitely need a little delay on a bass. Just makes life. Ooh, that sounds nice. Okay, what we're going to also do is assign the high cut. I'm going to open up Zensphere and I'm going to MIDI assign the filter cutoff frequency to controller 2 here. This is my controller view. Okay, cool. So now what we have in essence is that we can tweak the filter of Zensphere from our controller. And like what I found now over these years, if you have your high cuts mapped, like that kind of gives you everything. No need to make it super complicated. Let's try to get this groove a bit nicer. Cool. Okay, I think that's good enough now for getting a vibe and an idea going. So we're gonna go to the Iridium and I'm gonna just play some ideas for original, like the beginning of the track. This definitely needs a ton of reverb to just give us a little bit more vibe. Let me give this a little bit up like this. Okay, that's a lot of reverb. I'm gonna go back to this screen so you can see what I'm tweaking. Okay, that's already starting to sound a lot better. Let me go check my levels quickly, just because this is the important part where we are right now. With gain staging, we want to know that we've set ourselves up for success with the mix. So where are we at? We're peaking just below full blast and feels a little low. Let's give it a little bit of a boost just so that we can not have to mess with it too much later. I like to do this a lot in the filter. Adds a little bit of saturation. I find the clicky on the bass a bit distracting. So let's remove some of the clicky. As you can see, I've already removed a lot of the bass. So the whole idea with Zensphere is just to make the interface super intuitive and easy and have all the parameters ready to go. I think I would like to try a different bass. Let's go to our bass patches. I have some already. This is, by the way, favorites. If you click that, you can choose some that you may like. Ooh. Ooh. I may regret this because it's a little bit wonky, the tuning, but I kind of dig that. Let's make the delays a little bit shorter because now they're a bit all over the place. Already cool. Like once you get kind of a vibe or an idea for a vibe going, like just dive right in. Don't waste too much time now messing with the sound and stuff. Like I could do a million things still here, but the vibe was there for me just now before I started talking off all this YouTube stuff. So here we go. Let's capture it. Okay, that's our basic loop right now. I fucked up the velocity a bit on that one, but let's check it. And I came in a bit late, it looks like. So we're just going to adjust this over here, give this a chance to be on time, and we don't want to miss the first note. Let's see what this does to the timing of the sequence. Here we go. Oh, and our start point is in a funny place still from that little edit. I came in a bit early. Okay, we're a bit loud now. Let's go back to Zensphere. And the trick for me is that once I get to a point where the track is starting to feel together, I make my headphone or my speakers loud enough that it feels like a club or a festival without blowing out my ears. But that's like then my reference level. Like it has to feel like a good party. And then I start to build the mix. I'm going to show you a little Easter egg. It's a little thing we've hidden out here. If you click on the left top of Zensphere, this is the velocity curve for the whole synth. So if, like me, you can actually right mouse click and drag this to keep the curve, but you can also just click it normally and just hard drag it. So basically now it has no velocity sensitivity. It's like an 80s synth. Who on this video is waiting for the up hi-hat to come in? So in order to save myself, again, a bit of time, what I'm going to do is grab my setup for up hi-hats that I use, which is hi-hat open. So I'm going to load again this as a full track just to make this whole process a bit smoother and faster for you. We're going to bring this up to the front here. This is the open hi-hat, which actually can be open or closed. And if I'm super lucky, then now actually this is still mapped. No, it's not. That's interesting. Let me just check something very quickly on the controllers. Yeah, these need to be set to remote. And we have a file also that maps these things in such a way that you don't have a collision between the MIDI mix and the Akai APC. If I remember, I'll link it also on this video. Okay, here we go. So as you saw right now, this knob at the top of my controller is mapped to the panning of the master. Like how much more useless can we get? So what we're going to do is we're actually going to map it right here to the envelope decay. So this is my little trick, I will say, is that I like to use the microtonic for hi-hats. It's kind of my go-to. So let me show you what this sounds like if I run microtonic. And this is going straight to the main now, but we actually want this to go to the mastering channel so that it's getting the boost from our mastering chain. This a little more level. And my mastering chain isn't really activated yet. Like I haven't really done anything to it. So what I usually tend to do is I'll boost a bit of highs. I'll use Daniel's amazing body control. I will use the boom control. And I basically want this thing to just start moving, actually normally when the kick is running in it, but I can tell already now like my limiters and everything is not quite set up right. Let's go have a listen. Let's give these a little more juice. You see what I did there? I'm able to turn this little funky up hi-hat into an open hi-hat because I've mapped the decay of the microtonic to this controller on my control surface. And this is like the biggest hack. This is so fun because it just means that you're able to vibe much more with your set and control everything really intuitively. So let me show you. One thing I often do on my hi-hats is I'll cut a bit of the extreme highs because they're just aggressive. They're not super nice to listen to if you're on a big system. And what we need now very urgently is a good reverb for hi-hat. And this is it. This is the ultimate reverb for a hi-hat, which the amazing Mr. Frank Wiedemann showed me when I took part in his masterclass. And yeah, like this thing is the bomb. It's just, it makes for the perfect open hi-hat reverb. So we're going to give this a name, which is reverb B. Of course, for the reverb A, we're going to use Eventide's Black Hole, which is the ultimate, in my opinion, reverb for synths. Okay, cool. So we have Black Hole loaded here now. We don't need it right now, but we'll get to it. And let's check out this ambience. And this is still going straight to the main, which is why it's not properly matched. But let me bring in the mastering now. So we're sending this now to the mastering. There it is. Let's put this on full wet. And let's make this a little bit tighter. Too much of those high frequencies. Okay, that's already very cool. Now we're going to need some sort of a vibe maker, like, you know, something that's going to turn this into something that feels like a track, something that's, you know, like I think the bass is already very cool, but we need the vibe, yeah. So let's go Ben and grab a Zensphere, and we're going to look for a cool chord type sound. And the way we're going to trigger this is with this beautiful little machine here called the Torso T1. Incredible, incredible. It's like the coolest little sequencer ever. I love it. So we're going to use this for the harmonic element of the track, which is what I always use as kind of my opener. So how does this work? Let me go back here with you. So we have a Zensphere loaded in here, and this is going to get its MIDI from the Torso T1. And now we're going to do the same thing that I just did before with the arpeggiator. We're going to create a very basic sequence here of just 4 pulses, which are normally speaking on the kick. Okay, and pitch, what did I play? I think I played A flat, B something or other. So let's go, I think I played this note here. So this will now start running together with the sequencer. I'm going to mute everything I just did now. And actually one thing I have forgotten is to link my open channel, my hi-hat basically, to a MIDI fader. So if you look over here, I'm going to put that on this hi-hat open. Which, yeah, it's my dedicated little fader where I always know now where my hi-hat's going to be, right? Okay, back to this. Let's synchronize this now that I've removed the hi-hat and I just have the kick. And in order to get this to work, we need to send its MIDI somewhere. So we're going to send it to this harmony channel. I'm going to color code it to make my life easy. And this is also, since we're using Zensphere, going straight to the main because it's pre-mastered, pre-mixed. So let's go. There it is. So I'm going to do the same thing and remove some of the high frequencies from this because I find it hard to hear what I'm doing if my high frequencies are fully open. Again, I'm going to map, in this case, my harmony rotary controller to it. And now, let's see. What I also want to do is make the release a little bit shorter so that it's easier to hear if it's really tight or not with the timing. Let's go here now to synchronizing the torso. Okay, when I hear phasing, I know it's on the money. Like then it's in the right place. That's cool. And I heard a little phasing on its note, which means, okay, now it's on the right place. I'm going to do the same thing here now, which is mapping a dedicated high cut to the harmony. Okay, cool. Let's have a listen. Let's bring back our bass. Let's bring the hi-hat. And one thing that I do a lot with the hi-hat also is to make sure that I have control over its high frequency. So I'm going to also assign a rotary encoder for the hi-hat purely for its high frequency cut. Let me show you what that does. So at the beginning of the track, I may want to just have it like, you know, deep, vibey, bass vibey, hi-hat vibey. Cool, okay. Let's listen now to our chord thing in the making. Let's do a bit more interesting pattern, and I want to set this sound also to be a bit more punchy and short, just to make my life easier to get the timing really nice. Yeah, and I cannot over-exaggerate how important it is to get the timing on these kinds of sequences right. This may sound really stupid, but I didn't really realize this till pretty embarrassingly late into my musical journey. I just thought if you put stuff straight on the grid and maybe add a bit of shuffle and stuff, it's good enough. But no, like you need to make sure that the way you're doing your notes, and this actually was the big revelation with me with the multi-clock and using external sequencers, this is really the way where your music starts to sound and feel like what you may be used to or what you want to hear. Like a lot of this stuff isn't hard on grid all the time, which is what makes it. So with the little torso, we can make like, you know, little sequences and stuff, but what I mostly use this for is like either for chords or a little up pluck thing. What I'm going to do is use it for an up pluck, and I'm just going to change the timing on this now with this pulses. What it's basically doing, it's subdividing 16 steps into Euclidean patterns. So let's have a listen. Add some pitches. That's cool. I want this to play more against the rhythm, I'm realizing now. So let me shift this around with its very cool rotate function, which you achieve by holding control here. Let me show you. This is starting to get there, it's cool, but I'm not totally blown away by it yet. I'm not feeling it. So this is a nice little trick with Zensphere. Once you've dialed in your delays and all that kind of stuff, whatever you may have done here, if you now change preset, you're gonna nuke whatever settings you just made. But we thought of this, you can access the raw samples here and just use these settings with raw samples of a different synth. So let's try this with another synth. Digging that. I'm missing a little bit of grit on the open hi-hat, so let's fix that quickly. I'm just going to add a bit of saturation to it because it feels a bit too polite. It doesn't feel that great yet. Better. that when you get it right, you feel it right away. Like whenever my little fist pumps come up, I know that's the one. That's what I've been looking for. So I'm just gonna grab the last little bit of this sequence here. And as you can see, like all this stuff is a little bit weird. Like with the bass, I tweaked it because I wanted it to be tight with the kick just to make life easy also. But I'm gonna leave this unquantized. Yeah, that's the one. So we're gonna crop this sequence just to get rid of all the MIDI garbage that we don't want, just to make life easy moving forward. This could probably use the big Eventide reverb. What I'll usually do with reverbs, of course, is reduce a little bit the space they have to be in, because otherwise it'll just destroy your whole mix. That's super nice. Okay, cool. We have something now that we can start to work with. We actually don't need this little MIDI clip because it's running off of Microtonic. So in order to give this whole thing some swing and some vibe, we need a snare, right? I'm gonna grab from, again, my personal template, my snares channel. This can go to the mastering channel. I can remove all of these clips because I'm not gonna need them. And now I should have, let me map this fader also, a snares selection. Let's give this a little bit of a boost because it's still a bit low. This mastering channel that I just done on the fly now isn't set up to quite the right loudness as it should be. So I guess the smart thing to do here would be to make sure that the mastering channel is set to the right loudness. This snare, if the fader is all the way up, it should pop into the mix perfectly. So as soon as the mastering channel is doing that, I know it's set up correctly. Let's check it. Cool, and now these reverbs are going to be way too loud, so let's take them both down a little bit to compensate. And as you see, this is already also going to reverb B because that's always my snare reverb. Reverb B, where are you? Why I don't hear you? And the cool thing about Map to Controllers is that it's very intuitive and very fast to try different things on your mix, right? Like let's say that we want to just try out more like a deep part. No hi-hats, no snares. I just pulled those down, those faders. Map this correctly also to the harmonies channel. That's more like it. Let's check out the hi-hat groove. I want to just show you something that I think would be suitable now is to add a pad to give this some vibe. Like, let's take a new Zensphere instance, and I'm not going to send this the MIDI from that, but I'm going to grab a pad, and there's one in here. I'm still crying. This isn't about like a breakup or something. This is because the first time I played this pad, like, kind of teared up. It's a bit embarrassing as a sound designer, but I was just like, oh my God, give me a break. Really? That's what this pad sounds like. So let's bring this to MIDI. Actually, let's just take MIDI channel 1, because I know that that's where my Iridium is connected, which is my master keyboard. And let's listen to this pad. A bit more reverb, I think. But yeah, like, give me a break, man. Like, I was in the studio here and I was recording Dominion 1, or I was gonna set myself up to record this MFB Dominion 1, which is, by all accounts, and definitely also by my opinion, one of the best bass synthesizers that exists. And I loaded everything up and I had the channel, you know, the sound going through my mixer and into the converters, and I was like, oh man, this still sounds so far away from where it needs to be, and that would have taken me 10-15 minutes to set up. No, not today. It's gonna take me too much time. I'm gonna get out of the inspiration. I loaded up one patch on Zensphere and immediately the bass was done, straight to the master. I was like, okay, so the cool thing about having made Zensphere is these 18 hardware synths that I recorded, they're now captured for all eternity, as long as we have bits and bytes with highest quality converters and everything for anyone to use forever. And I'm actually a little bit proud of that. I'm grateful for that, that I got to be a part of that, because yeah, they're there now forever. Stuff like this sick Matrix 1000, which, believe it or not, is one of the best synths in my studio, and I have stuff from Moog, Sequential, whatnot. This thing is massively underrated. You need a special controller with it to use it fully. But yeah, I digress. Let's go to this pad. Tasty. Okay, I'm gonna take this down a little bit. I don't want this to be so in your face. And I want to give this a little sidechain, and just to do this on the fly, I'm going to use the Ableton. Okay, we're gonna sidechain this the old school way. We're gonna just use a compressor with a sidechain off of the kick and do it properly, right? Which is probably cool. Then I can actually show you how to set up a proper sidechain where you can control the groove with the ratio and the attack and release and everything. Let's have a listen. Take this up an octave, and I want more reverb, because more reverb is always better. I'm going to grab a utility just to make my life fast here and lower the level of this going to the main bus a bit. More reverb. Give me more. I'm going to bring up the reverb bus a bit because it's a bit low. Just check that I'm not clipping it. It doesn't like that. Cool. That's pretty nice. All right, let's have a listen. So for this pad, I do want to have a pad which I can open more. And some pads in Zensphere I sampled open or close depending on how important the filter was for it. But this pad, I know the filter will stay closed, so that doesn't help me. That's more like it. So I want to be able to control the filter on this pad to bring in more drama. So I'm going to map the pad now here. I now have a pad sample that does have its filter open when I sampled it. More drama. Okay, let's go. gonna do my square wave velocity curve trick here again, because I don't want to mess with velocities right now. Like, I just want to know that when I play these notes, they're all going to be full blast coming through the mixer. And I like this so much that I'm going to start tracking this right away. Let's go. Okay, you get the idea. I mean, obviously, if I wasn't on kind of a clock to not take too much of your time today, I would spend a bit more time making these parts, but I just want to show you more the principles of the kind of workflow that we do at Rapid Flow. And yeah, to make my life easy, what I always do is I set up any sound so that when my fader is at the top, the mix is correct. Because then when I want to get back to the mix, especially the first vibe of the mix when you started composing, which is super easy to overproduce and destroy, I know that I just have to push up all the faders and I'll be back where I started. So let's fix this now. And my fader is going to go all the way up, and I'm going to bring this in with the utility until it's at the right level. Check this out. Keep a very short loop on this because I'm not quite sure what I played on the second half of this. Let me remove this. And this is calling for this note over around and about here. And then we have kind of a nice loop going on. But I guess we could do a 16th just for shits and giggles. This does look like it's being triggered by a pattern. It's a microtonic. I'm not quite sure. Let's have a listen to it. Let's make sure this is going to the mastering channel. And let's run it. Seems a bit loud. And actually, this is another one where I would adjust its envelope decay with the rotary encoder because it just all works together. Cool. So we're getting there. We're getting there. Okay. Now bear with me. This is going to be a little bit crazy, but what I want to do is actually put my so-called super channel on this mastering. Normally I have this split into two channels, but in the interest of time, I'm going to keep this short and I'm just going to put it on the mastering channel just ahead of it. So I have something called the super channel, or yeah, this is kind of all part of the Rapid Flow workflow. This is the super channel, and we're going to map it. Low cut to, I'm going to show you the faders that I use for this on my controller in just that's not right actually. In just a second. Cool. I'm just going to use this now in the interest of speed. If you want to see all of this proper, please check out my Eric Heiremann Ableton template video that I'll link here, because normally the way I set this up is actually by inserting some of these effects on return send so that the effect doesn't get cut off when you bypass them here, but this will do now for the purposes of demonstrating what this can do. So what I've just done is in essence added a ton of DJ effects to these rotary encoders on my template. They're no longer mapped to stupid useless functions like pans on the kick drum, which I don't think you're going to need very often. But no, it's actually now connected to this. If I also connect this guy here to its macro. And because the kick drum is going straight to the master, that's not doing anything now because yeah, it's slightly different to the setup that I normally have. But let me just drag this over to the master quickly, so to the main output, because we want this to also be affecting the kick drum when I'm cutting away stuff. So I'm just going to move the limiter behind it. We don't want the kick drum and stuff to also do all this crazy washout and delays and stuff. I just want very cleanly to have the high cut and the low cut. I'm going to also map them on those outputs. So now I have DJ effects on my whole signal. Let me show you. Gnarliness. Okay, so as you could tell from the mayhem going on, those DJ effects are quite powerful. And what I would like to do now is just to make sure that all of my channels are laid out in such a way that this is a little bit of a better overview. I forgot to map some faders, I realized. My 16th hi-hat fader is not yet mapped, so I've just done that now. Let me show you a quick high-level overview of what the DJ effects sound like and what they can do, so you get an idea of where all this is coming from. What we're going to do is actually enable washout also on the master. It's going to get messy big, but this way I can demo what I mean to do. So check this out. So what I just realized is what's missing on my open hi-hat is the high cut because I'm not yet able to bed that into the mix properly. So I'm going to click here and map my hi-hat 16 high cut fader. Coming back here. Now let's see if I can control this whole mix. And what I also haven't mapped yet is my snares high cut, which is, yeah, very necessary. I'm going to grab that here and map it to my snares high cut, which lives here. Let's go back to the screen so you can see what I'm doing. Cool. Okay, let's have a listen now. Let me switch over to the controller because you can hear what I'm doing. Let me show you how easy it is to move the energy of this whole track up and down using all these different high cuts that are now hard-coded to my control surfaces. And then we're going to do the sequence for this track in real time using the DJ effects and the controllers. But let's start now. Let me just give you an impression of why I think it's so cool to have this high cut workflow everywhere. And the snare is still a little bit tame. I want all these snares were recorded through outboard gear to have a ton of punch and presence. So what I've just done now is removed this high cut filter from it so that it can really come to the front. Have a listen. And it needs a tiny bit more gain also. Let's give it like a 340 dB here. Still even a little bit more, and I'm going to remove the low cut a little bit. Yeah. Now we're talking. Okay, cool. I'm going to take the gain back just a bit. Okay, cool. So now let's just assume that I had my track full blast. Everything's like kicking ass, super loud. I've opened up all the high cut filters. Okay, now I would want to take this energy level and take it all the way back down and maybe also pull some of the stuff that's like up high, right? And like, that's really what I love about this approach, is that you have so much control over the dynamics of your track. The reason why this is so cool is because of what I'm going to show you now. You can actually use this to create a track sequence in real time. And in order to show you this better, I'm going to add the controller to this view quickly on OBS. So the way I do this is that I start by looking for a vibe, something that catches my attention about this so that it could become a track. Let's have a listen. There you go, that's it right there. So what I'm going to do now is all these tracks are going to keep running in the background. And I know these are like kind of basic functions of Ableton, but I never used this. I was so stuck in Cubase Logic way of thinking of then dragging all these little boxes over to the arrange view and then starting to make my sequence manually here, which is a nightmare. Like doing it like that, I can never go back. So let me show you what it sounds like and feels like when you make your arrangement in real time using this controller workflow. So what I'm going to do is I've now prepared so that this is the vibe I'm going to start with. Right? And normally, like, I would be adding some Alan Watts samples here and stuff. Actually, let's see if maybe I have some quickly here, because that will give this whole thing a bit more life. Okay, I've grabbed an Alan Watts sample that I ripped off of YouTube recently. This is going to go straight to main with a bit of a reverb on it. So here is our friend Alan. I'm going to map his channel to a fader, which is always in my case here. I've mapped him to a fader. I'm going to give him a bit of reverb, and I'm going to grab one of my console ones to be able to limit his bandwidth in a way so that, you know, he doesn't like just make too much noise in the track and stuff. This gives me control. I use console one mostly because it just gives me control over everything in one plugin. Yeah, it's super useful. Let's check its level.
Get what you want, not because you fight, strive, or wrestle with life, but because you let go of the...
Yeah, and this definitely needs a little bit of delay, otherwise it's going to be way too dry. So we go to waves, because this is my quick and dirty delay. It works really well.
You will get what you want, not because you fight, strive, or wrestle with life, but because you let go of the illusion that you must get.
Okay, and what I want is for this, when I blast my fader to the top, for the level to be set. I'm just going to do this quick and dirty with console 1's gain.
You will get what you want, not because you fight, strive, or wrestle, but because you let go of the illusion that you must control everything in order to receive anything. You see, the game of existence is not won by pushing harder.
It's pretty cool. It's a little bit too much delay. Let's take the feedback and mix a bit.
You will get what you want, not because you fight, strive, or wrestle with life, but because you let go of the illusion that you must control everything.
Yeah, this guy's so deep, man. He's on the case. Cool, so now we can make our sequence. And because I know console 1 is loaded on this plugin, I can do my workflow again of adding a high cut filter to the sample channel. Normally there's like a de-esser on here and all this other stuff. If you want the full shebang, it's on the Eric Harman Ableton Live template. Like all of this plus like maybe 400% more is pre-configured in that. Like, yeah, every signal you could encounter for electronic music, there's a channel for it with a full control workflow, mastering, mixing, all of the live performance effects, all proper. But this is, yeah, like a follow-along quick demo. We're going to the sequencing view. I don't want to push that. I don't want to push that. I don't want to have that. Okay, and yeah, be careful where this loop is set, because if it's set somewhere weird, your whole sequence is not going to do what you want it to do. So this is it. We're now going to do our track sequence in real time.
You will get what you want, not because you fight, strive, or wrestle with life, but because you let go of the illusion that you must control everything in order to receive anything. You see, the game of existence is not won by pushing harder, but by understanding that the very act of striving too intensely for something often ensures it remains just out. When you plant a seed, You don't sit next to it all day screaming at it to grow. You water it, give it light, and then you wait. And what is waiting? It is a form of trust. A quiet knowing that life has its rhythm, its intelligence, and its timing. But we, in our frantic little minds, are taught to believe that unless we are constantly doing something, fixing, planning, adjusting, worrying, fall behind, or worse, be forgotten. Who exactly do you think is keeping score? There is no cosmic scoreboard tallying up your stress and awarding you points for something. The universe does not respond to how tightly you clench your fists. It listens to the frequency of your being. When you are relaxed,
So just as a proof of concept, I guess, there's our new track sequence now. So that means that in real time, we now can try something completely different. And, sometimes I keep 2-3 attempts, but very often one attempt, from the get-go, it's like, that's the one. It's just like, there's something about it. But yeah, like you can play with this, you can try different things and kind of, come to different vibes in your studio. And as you saw, even though, I have a studio with a lot of hardware in it, we just use controllers in Ableton today. And Zensphere, yes. So in essence, you can achieve this, the big advantage of Zensphere is that all the sounds are pre-mixed. So as you can see, there is nothing on any of these channels, which I still can't really believe. What a pleasure. Yeah, we have like a utility and a sidechain, but everything else was just going straight to the master because that was the concept of Zensphere, that everything was pre-mixed with hardware going into the instrument. So yeah, with this workflow, you're able to create track ideas like that and just explore different things. And all we've really done is written like a little row of clips here now that we're automating and turning into a progression using DJ effects, faders, high cuts, and all that kind of stuff. So this is my workflow. This is the rapid flow approach. This is what we'll be teaching in the Flow Collective starting January 2026. It's an online school where I'll be showing all of this stuff live on Zoom with recording so you can watch it later, etc. And yeah, learn this from the ground up. Some of you who are maybe more advanced or have been making music for a while will see this video today and be like, yo, okay, I got it. And if you're not at that point, if you're still a bit like, yo, what did you do today? Then yes, come join us in the Flow Collective. It's going to be super fun. It's going to be live. There's going to be guest teachers, Protoculture, Braincell, Earthling, and Daniel Zuderberg, our mastering engineer that created this incredible mastering chain, will also join. So yeah, it's going to be amazing. Please check it out on our website, rapidflow.shop. There's an intro offer on it now. You can just get a month now to lock in your Black Friday price thing. And then starting January, you can extend it by as many months as you want at that same price for this early access deal. So yeah, the first part of it's going to go 3 months. It's going to be all about producing in a state of flow. The second continuation is going to be all about sound engineering, mastering, sound design, all the technical deep dive below it. And the third part is going to be all about live performance, whether in clubs and stages or on YouTube, OBS, cameras, lights, microphones, all that stuff. We're going to teach you in the third part of this. So it's like a full course from starting out how to build stuff that works fast and it's fun to play, to how do you get gigs, perform on stage, how do you set up your laptop, how do you set up OBS, cameras, and all this stuff for streaming on YouTube. It's going to be the whole journey from beginning to end, starting January 2026, the Flow Collective. Check it out if you join in the first wave. Every class is going to be live because, yeah, we're going to be there with you, teaching you this stuff. And then for later waves, this is going to be recorded content with some live classes. But yeah, if you want to get this and have access to everyone teaching on the spot and ask your questions, starting January 2026. All right, I hope that this video has been interesting and fun to see, and it's given you some food for thoughts, new approaches, new ideas, things that you can do. And let's have a listen to this as a form of an outro, and I hope to see you on the next video or on the Flow Collective. If you got something from this video, please subscribe and like. We get the feedback a lot that our channel is massively underrated. I don't know what that means from a YouTube algorithm point of view, but I think, yeah, your likes and comments and subscribes would massively help to grow the channel. And more than anything, I hope that this gives you something so that you can produce in a state of flow, finish more tracks, have more fun in the studio. It's about you and the musicians and the people that use this stuff to make music. That's what we do this for. All right, I hope you're doing well. I wish you much inspiration in the studio, and see you on the next one. Bye-bye.
Not because you fight, strive, or wrestle with life, but because you let go of the illusion that you must control everything in order to receive anything. You see, the game of existence is not won by pushing harder, but by understanding that the very act of striving too intensely for something often ensures it remains just out of you. When you plant a seed, you don't sit next to it all day screaming it to grow. You water it, give it light, and then you wait. And what is waiting? It is a form of trust. Quiet knowing that life has its rhythm, its intelligence, and its timing. But we, in our frantic little minds, are taught to believe that unless we are constantly doing something, fixing, planning, adjusting, worrying, fall behind, or worse, be forgotten. But who exactly do you think is keeping score? There is no cosmic scoreboard tallying up your stress and awarding you points for something. The universe does not respond to how tightly you clench your fists. It listens to the frequency of your ear. When you are relaxed,